Today starts episode 1 of a new series, Things Beginners Should Know. This episode, how a pick, or a plectrum, as its proper terminology is called, changes your tone and your sound. All these many details coming right up. Let's rip! So episode 1 in this series, and we're going to have a bunch of these, so this is going to get pretty fun. I get asked all the time, what pick should I use for a beginner? Well, that's a great question. There are basically 3 different sizes, thin, medium, and heavy. I always recommend a thin or a medium for a beginner, only because as a beginner, it's a natural tendency you're going to pick and you're going to play too hard. You don't realize that you're doing it. Everybody does it. So if you use a thick pick, a heavy pick, you run the risk of breaking strings. And it's a lot easier to replace a pick than it is a string. So I always recommend a thin to a medium pick. But do you know that a pick actually changes your tone? It alters your tone. So here I've just got a standard acoustic guitar, and I've got a bunch of different picks and thicknesses and types of picks in my lap, and I'm just going to play the same thing, and show you exactly how a pick changes your tone. So first I'm just going to start out with a medium, just a medium pick as you would get just about anywhere else, standard shape. Okay, guitar tuning standard. I'm just going to play a little thing in G and C here, and you're going to hear exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's a medium pick, just made out of the standard material, which is a perloid. Okay, now I'm going to go to a heavier pick, the same thing, only in a heavy. And you'll hear how much bassier everything gets. I would say that this is probably about almost a 1 millimeter. Most picks are gauged by millimeter. 0.5 being thin, 0.88 usually being a heavy part of a medium, and then a 1 millimeter being one of the heaviest. So here it is, same thing, back to back. Now what you probably heard there was a lot more projection and a lot more volume from a heavier pick. But you have to be careful. As a beginner, you will be picking too hard, you'll be strumming too hard, and it could run the risk of breaking your strings. So keep that in mind as a little warning. Now all I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over to a thin pick. This one happens to be a nylon, it's a Jim Dunlop nylon, and it's a 0.46 millimeter, which is very, very thin. And you'll hear the difference. It'll sound much more trebly and not quite as loud. Listen to the difference. Not quite as much volume and a lot more treble. And all we did was change picks. 3 different sounds just by changing your pick. Now, as a beginner, you're not going to know what you like and what you don't like until you try a bunch. So I recommend you come in and we'll set you up with a pack of multis. We have packs that are different thicknesses, different sizes, different materials. So you need to come in and check one of those out. Now, just as something different, I grabbed a metal pick. This is actually made of metal. Now, I don't recommend this, especially for beginners, but I'm doing this simply for demonstration purposes. This pick is metal. Now, it will ruin your strings, so you don't want to use them all the time. But if you're, playing something where you just want a different sound for one song, this might be something you would consider. So listen to the difference in this one. It's going to be extremely bright. That's a great sound. But again, you wouldn't want to use that all the time because you run the risk of your pick damaging your strings. And ain't nobody got time for damaged strings. So there's just the difference just by changing your pick. This and a whole lot more information coming up in our series, so make sure you subscribe, like this video, and I want you to comment, beginners, what pick do you use? What thickness do you use? What material do you use? Tell me. the one that gets the most comments, I'm going to have a little present for you. So, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment. Thanks for watching. Plenty more coming up. This and more. Stay tuned.